He's an on-time Shay. Yes, he is. Don't you know he may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. He's an on-time Shay. Yes, he is. No sirs! No sirs! Woohoo! Hey, I'm pumped up tonight, baby. I'm pumped up tonight. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. The score right here on the Cream City crossover says OKC 111, Pacers 104. But you might as well take the OKC out and say Bucks 111. That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel. That's how pumped up I am right now about this game. Oh, my God. Choked it away. That's what he did. That's what Halliburton did. That's what the newfound GOAT of all time, Rick Carlisle, the greatest coach that's ever graced the sideline. I've never heard so much about a basketball team in my life off of Joe Flacco kind of run, off of Eli Manning kind of run, off of Detroit Pistons 04. Is Chauncey Billups the GOAT too? Is that what we do? Is he one of the greatest players? Is he the greatest player of all time too? Is that what we're doing? Come on, people. Come on. Don't be a prisoner in a moment. But don't worry, the basketball guys are alive. They do live on. They do stop flukes, and they have never failed me, and I ain't gonna fail me yet. That's how I feel right now. Come on, man. We are live. Cream City crossover, Goo Trick Hospital third.
Justin.
Come on, man. Come on in the room, dog. We don't usually do, we haven't done a post-game. Well, this isn't really a post-game. I guess it is a post-game show. In the finals, OKC 111, Indiana 104. We just messing around, man. Having some fun. Decided we were going to go live kind of impromptu with it. I don't know who's going to join. I don't know anything about what's going on. But, man, like I said, man, just having some fun. In the building. King of Kings says the boys are back. Lag says the Black Magic is out tonight. Jack Horton says he misses us. We miss you too. We miss everybody, man. So appreciate you coming in to the room, joining us on a night like this, such as tonight. We are going to talk a little bit about what we just saw from this basketball game. We'll talk about the finals, and of course, what we really want to do is give you some Bucks updates. With how things have been going and progressing so far. Again, we have not done our end of year show, right? So we will do after the finals end. We will still do a totality end of the year discussion that's just about and around the Milwaukee Bucks and the season and what we think is to come, But Justin, man, appreciate you coming on here and hanging out a little bit tonight. Appreciate everybody who is watching this now and who will watch this after it comes out. Because again, this was kind of impromptu. We didn't really promo it like that. Quick little recap, I guess, since we always kind of do game recaps. Chet Holmgren 14 and 15 tonight. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 35 tonight. J-Dub 27 and 7. He had 4 turnovers. He was out there dribbling like your boy Chris Middleton a little bit. And then Caruso had 20. And then you look at Indiana, Halliburton 18, Siakam 20, Mouse Turner 12, Nembhard 10, Obi Toppin 17. I'll just say this about the game, man. I thought that, and I want to get your thoughts, but I thought that, again, this is an entertaining basketball game, entertaining game 4, now tied up 2-2. I thought that, and this is just my personal feelings, so I'll try to take some bias out of this. You know how I feel about Halliburton, but I'll try to take some bias out of it and just talk about this game as a totality, as a whole. I really thought, again, you know how I am, so you know people are trolling, texting me, whatever, everything about it. You know I got bets out as well, so I'm glad I won a little bit of money tonight, but betting on OKC. But so many people throughout this game, Justin, they thought the game was over. They thought the series was over. And again, if you go up 3-1, the series really is over. And honestly, this felt like a gut punch to the Indiana Pacers for me because this was it's been an incredible series. OKC, of course, dominated game 1 and found a way to lose. Then they did win game 2. Then they dominated a lot of game 3 as well. And the Pacers really ran them out of the building in the fourth quarter. But tonight was the flip of all that. Like, Indiana dominated the game. This was Indiana's best I mean, for like for a full 48-minute, segment, even though they didn't play well in the last 10, like last 7-8 minutes. This to me felt like Indiana's best played game. OKC shot, I mean, from three. I mean, they were three. OKC was 3 of 17. Indiana was 11 of 36. So they had 8 more made threes and lost the basketball game. And I'll just say that it felt to me like OKC, because I mean they choked the game away. I feel like they choked the game away. And I'm not saying Shai Gilgeous-Alexander didn't go take it. He applied pressure as well, but they choked the game away. And I felt like, to me, at 2-2, it does not. I mean, I think, again, and I go back to the text messages and the tweets I was getting, that series over, game over, all that. Does it feel like, I mean, to me, it feels like 2-2 in a 2-2 series, you feel like, oh, it's anybody's game. To me, this 2-2 feels like super advantage OKC. That Indiana didn't finish out at home what they needed to finish out, and now you're in a dogfight to win 2 out of the next 3 games. And I don't know that Indiana's going to... Like, to me, that where Indiana had all the confidence, because end of games, they're the clutch team. They're always closing. Halliburton's always hitting these shots. They're getting these steals. They came up. The luck ran out tonight. And if I'm OKC, I'm like, oh, the light switch will finally go on. These guys really aren't that good. This devil magic run is over. And now it's time, because OKC goes up 3. If they go up 3-2 at home, which I think they will go home and win, I don't know that Indiana can beat them 2 times in a row. But I'm interested in your thoughts. Tonight's a good night, Justin. Tonight's a good night.
Yeah, man. So I'm a little bit on the other side with this, man. I just feel like these Indiana Pacers are like that. For y'all that grew up in the hood, they like, you done got all the cockroaches out. And it's that one queen one that you cannot get her. And she just goes somewhere else in the house and she reproduces and she makes a whole bunch more. And you chasing cockroaches forever. And you at the point now, are you going to move? Or are you going to stay in that crib, man? I thought the game was over. I'm not going to lie to you. When I looked at it, I was watching the game at the baseball game tonight. They were up 8 in the third quarter. I was like, oh, my gosh, they're going to do it. And they didn't. And SGA kind of hit Tyrese Halliburton and those guys with a little bit of their own money, stuff that they do. I felt that the Indiana Pacers got really sloppy in that last 2 to 3 minutes of that fourth quarter. A lot of just bad basketball that they played. And that momentum is different. However, I will not count this Indiana Pacers team out. I just can't. I feel like they've been down 20. They've been down 20 with 4 minutes to go, came back and won a game. They always seem to pull this junk out of their behind and slap it on the other team.
They pull what out of their behind and slap it on who? That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
I mean, but like for real, and Halliburton he's pretty mid 3.5 quarters. And then that fourth quarter comes on and it's like Clark Kent turns into Superman and he's just making shots. He did airball and leave a couple of them short when that game was on the line. Miles Turner missed a shot that, I mean, heck, against our Milwaukee Bucks, he was making those shots. Against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was making those shots. Against the New York Knickerbockers, he was making those shots.
Yeah.
I'm not going to count him out. I still got Indy in 7.
You got Indy. You think Indiana can go into Oklahoma City and win in 7? I don't see that. I do want to recognize the super chat from our guy NYC Demon. He's everywhere. He says best post game show back. I couldn't even watch the game. Was arguing with Wisconsin kid on Twitter. People call anybody superstars. How you been? NYC, we've been good. I know you guys, and that's funny that he mentions that, Justin. They were in a thread that I was in. They going back and forth posting stats of Jalen Brunson, and I don't know what the heck they were talking about. I'm like, yeah, y'all missing the game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is having a hell of a comeback right now. Reese says we back, #CCC, but
he's a superstar though.
Who? Who? Shai? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Shai is a superstar. And I'll say this too, just getting to the series, at large. I'll tell you, I thought Indiana got a lot of calls. Like, I think a lot of people thought that the calls were going to go to OKC and they were really going to try to, Scott Foster has been dubbed as the extender when he comes in the series. That didn't happen. Like that didn't. Okay, Indiana was in the bonus with like 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I mean, they lost the game. Like I'd be interested to know what they shot from three in the fourth. But yeah, I mean, OKC won the fourth 31-17. That has not been what we've seen. And I'll tell you this too. I think that Daigneault, I think he's pretty mid, dog. Like Daigneault, I thought coached a horrific game tonight. He's back. He goes he goes back to the double bigs, which didn't work. The crazy thing is he makes the switch. I thought he should have put Caruso in instead of putting in Kason Wallace, but he does that for the first two games. But they still start the games off well, and so then they lose and they're down 2-1. And I don't know if it's outside pressure or what, but then he goes back and switches it back up, plays the double bigs. They don't start the game off well at all. The only thing I think Mark Daigneault did better tonight than he's done throughout the rest of the series is he did give Shea that little bit of he gave Shea more rest in the first half. I thought he had some weird substitution patterns in the second half, in the fourth quarter, but that's neither here nor there. They pulled it out, man. They absolutely pulled it out, and credit to them. Credit to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'm worried. I think a lot of people are prisoners of the moment. This game reminded me of that game. What game was that when OKC beat Denver and they were on the ropes? And OKC this year, and they beat Denver, and then basically just ran away with the series after that. That's what it feels like to me is going to happen. We'll see, but I mean, I just think so many people we are prisoners of the moment. And again, I'm not even saying Rick Carlisle. I don't think Rick Carlisle's a bad coach at all. He's won a championship, and I'll give him that. He had a championship run with Dirk in 2011. He did diddly squat after that, right? And then all of a sudden he's back here, and now we got to pretend like he's the great. I mean, they're acting like he's the greatest coach to ever walk the sidelines, and that's what I'm like. Hold on, what are we talking about? And then we gotta live with Tyrese Halliburton as a superstar. We know that he's not. Like, we don't have to, that's the part where we get to the overrated stuff where it's like, we all know you're not a superstar. And my problem with Halliburton is him and his bald head daddy act like he's a superstar. And it's okay to be a really good player. That, like, I don't know where, like, that became. Chris Middleton is an exceptional player, or was. No, I don't know why. Remember when your boy Kendrick Perkins kept trying to be, oh, he's the real Batman and Giannis is Rob. We don't have to do that. We don't have to live that. We don't have to live in these moments where somebody does something great and all of a sudden they're the greatest thing ever. And that's where we've gotten with Halliburton. He's like this end-all, be-all, best player of all. Oh man, he's a top 5 player. No, he's not. He is not. Even tonight, Justin. Tonight. Let me just
give me a stat line again.
No, his stat line tonight, 18 and 7. It's very pedestrian. 18 and 7 on 15 shots. He was 1 of 7 from 3. 5 turnovers. He had 7 assists and 5 turnovers tonight. And
let me get that plus minus. What's that plus minus? No, that's what like the OKC coach and them basketball analytic people love. So what's that?
He was a +1 tonight.
Oh,
but, yeah, he was a +1.
Superstar shouldn't be +1 in the finals.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Gotta be more than that. But then you go to the whole thing is depth. Well, Ben Shepherd -10. Obi Toppin, I thought he had a big game. He was -15. TJ McConnell, all NBA first team All NBA hustle, was a -7. And Ben Mathurin had some bonehead plays tonight. That's the thing about Mathurin, and again, Indiana's gonna pay him a lot of money. He didn't lose them the game, but those 2 fouls he made at the end where he fouled, he held Shea and they got free throws, and then he ran over Shea after that. Both away from the ball fouls were just tough and bad. But again, it was a pedestrian night from Halliburton, and Halliburton did what he does. Fourth quarter comes around. I think he scored 8 in the fourth or whatever. But again, he kind of just he's lackadaisical, lets everybody else play the game. And he wasn't like he had 20 assists. He had 7. Well, like it was some crazy assist night for him. He had 7 assists tonight. So again, that's the norm for Halliburton, and we pretend like Halliburton, that's his norm, and then he puts a game-winning shot on with it, and we go, "Oh, superstar!" And it's like, no, he's Robert Ory, like that. Like he's glorified Robert Ory with the late game shots. But I mean, I don't know, man. I thought it was again, it was very entertaining. Shea was just so much better tonight down the stretch. Shea was so much. He was, well. That's what I was getting to. Shea was a better player on the floor than Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
I'd argue outside the turn, but he had less turnovers than Halliburton. Jalen Williams was a better player tonight than Halliburton. Alex Caruso, I thought, was a better player tonight than Halliburton. Pascal Siakam was a better player tonight than Halliburton. That's four guys. And I'd even argue Obi Toppin played better than Halliburton. So that's what I'm getting at. I count no less than 5 players, both teams, that were better than Halliburton tonight. And that's why I don't – and that happens far too often with Halliburton. So that's why I can't go superstar when I just give you 5. And I dare anybody to tell me that other players were better, to tell me that he was better than any of those guys. I dare anybody to tell me that. But that's the norm for him.
You can't, though. And I mean, it would be one thing if he was impact, like, because there's guys, and I mean, I think a lot of our followers are pretty educated. So there's guys like Jason Kidd who are pass first and stuff like that, and tremendously impacted the game. Your Steve Nash, your John Stocktons and stuff like that. And sometimes they didn't have the gaudy numbers, but the thing is, he's a cone on the defensive end. And he's mid. And I think it's very telling that his peers did not vote him into the NBA All-Star game again this year. I think if you want to, and I know I saw NYC Demon said he's Derek Fisher. That's a little wild. I would lean him more into, like you mentioned, that Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday category, where a guy that can play good basketball. I'm not saying he's defensively with Drew. He can impact the game tremendously at times. But can he carry your franchise by himself? Absolutely not. When we do top 100 at 100, will he be one of them? I highly doubt it. But as far as Carlisle, though, I do give Carlisle a lot of credit. And the reason why, I forget who it was. Someone came in here after one of our things and said the Bucks got a bunch of retread players. What do you think Indiana is playing with right now? Highsmith, the Celtics didn't want him. Nembhard, nobody wanted him. They've been trying to trade Turner since the Pacers got him.
They had,
for
right.
10 years.
Right.
Obi Toppin. No one wanted him. McConnell. He's a second-round pick for a reason, isn't he?
Justin, I'll give you another one. Even on Miles Turner, do you remember, and this is where I saw a tweet that sometimes it's better to be lucky than be good. They put an offer sheet out on what's a man I think he was in Portland. Big man. He was in Phoenix before. DeAndre Ayton. They put an offer sheet out and tried to pay DeAndre Ayton a grip of money to bring him in as their center. And when he was a restricted free agent, and Portland matched it. And that's the only reason why they still have Miles Turner instead of, because that's who that front office went after. They went after DeAndre Ayton when he was a restricted free agent, tried to bring him in. And it just so happened that it got matched. So yeah, no, to your point, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But again, I give credit to the front office. I'm not saying I'm not giving Rick Carlisle credit. I'm just saying I don't think it's like, oh my God, he's the. I just can't go, man. He's a top 5 coach, because this is a great run. This is a great run. But tonight again, and I know tonight has not been the norm for Indiana. This is more along the lines of what I think they are. Yeah, you're not hitting miracle shots every single game. That's ridiculous. That's not real. And tonight was more realistic to me. What I saw, and again, I don't think OKC particularly played particularly well all game long. I really don't. Samuel's upset that the Pacers got their ass whooped tonight. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, we are in Cancun too, Samuel, but we're also NBA fans, and I think OKC has a lot left in the tank that they can put out there. I will say this about Rick Carlisle: these past 2 years are his best coaching performance bar none, in my opinion. And that's including the team that beat the Miami Heat with the LeBron James, the Heatos or whatever they called them, because he has a bunch of role players, no name guys. Like he has Nimhart playing like he is one of the best players in the league, and he's playing his behind off. And I think sometimes some of the Pacer fans that came in at the end of our show and stuff like that, they can't tell the difference of when we're being silly and when we're not giving you actual full analytics, what we actually think and analyzing the game. So some of the stuff that we say when we, at least what I say, when I tell you TJ McConnell's, well, he's actually a bum. But when I say he's a bum, it's like, yeah, we understand he made good basketball plays and stuff like that. We're not blind to the situation, right? But, hey, man, this is a tough one for Indiana. You had everything in front of you. OKC choked the game away against you game 1. Now you choked one game 4, and we're going to see. It's going to be it's going to be a just great fight to the end. I don't know what we're crying about, man. We're just talking about the finals.
And we've been out for over a month, my guy. Anybody crying?
Good luck on these last 3 games, though.
TJ McConnell is a rich man's Matthew Dellavedova. That's the TJ. He had last game where he he had a couple in the backcourt, but there's still he had where like they threw it in. He caught it almost like a D lineman, like when right at the line, in the inbounds and laid it up. That was just just classic TJ McConnell, and that reminded me of Matthew Dellavedova. Getting that steal. I think was that against the Bulls? No, who was that against?
I can't
remember who that was. It might have been Toronto. I feel like it was Toronto. I feel it was a Toronto series.
I try to forget all the Dellavedova. Just the fact that he was a Buck. He was a victim of the salary cap, the TV deals going up, and we pay. And I understand, like everyone's contracts went crazy then. Yeah. But even for that, we overpaid for him tremendously. But so I hate McConnell so much because I remember my guy Bronson Koenig for the Wisconsin Badgers just shredding him. And you look at a guy like that, I don't understand how he's in a league. There are 30 point guards in the G League that are better than him, and he's there. He makes winning basketball players, and he finds a way to stay on the roster. And I want to hate on him. I don't like him, but I respect this game. I think the only legit dog you have on that Miles Turner's fool's gold. He's not a dog.
No.
The dog on that team and the best player on that team. And if the conversation should never be Halliburton as a superstar, we should be giving more of that reign in terms of this team to Pascal Siakam.
100%. Pascal Siakam he is there. To me, he's bar none their best player. He's their go-to guy. To me, people in the comments telling me that it was Boston this series. That you guys, I'll take your word for it. They're telling me it was Boston. That was a series that Delhi got the layup. Lag says Nimhard is scary out there. Man, he's absolutely a dog. And this is the thing that's so funny about how they officiate, and that's been the difference. Like I saw people saying like, oh, Shea's not playing like Shea. Now he clutched up tonight late in the game, But the difference is, and it's the same thing that would happen to Harden, where the fouls. Again, Shea, I don't know how many free throws he averaged, like 8, 9, 10 a game. Shea, in the regular season, the NBA regular season is just called differently than the NBA postseason. So I don't think Shea's playing any different. I think he's not going. I mean, his numbers are inflated where he averages 30 points a night. His numbers are inflated because he goes to the line. And when you take away, like you said, it was at one point in the game, it was in the fourth quarter, where he was taking like free throws 3 and 4. Like when you take those away from him, like it's kind of like if Giannis actually hit the free throws he took, he'd average probably 36, 37, 38. But he just doesn't hit them. And so, I mean, when you're my point is when you officiate the game differently in the regular season and then you officiate it one way in the postseason, yeah, you are effectively taking 7, 8 points away from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and making it much harder for him. And it's the exact same thing that used to happen to James Harden, where James Harden would be the MVP, bar none, best player in the league, and in the regular season, and in the postseason comes, and the calls that he was getting, they go away. And you're like, damn, why is he turning the ball? What's going on? He's just not getting the calls. But again, Shai absolutely took over late in that game and showed you why he is the MVP of the league, and that's what I was waiting to see from him. So again, that was really good to see. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this game. Real quick before we get to the Bucks, want to see if you had anything else on it. But how have you enjoyed the? A lot of people have had problems with the presentation of the finals, the no decals. They don't like. This is the first time in forever. Like we haven't gotten national anthem. We haven't gotten final like the starting lineups. Like I feel like that used to happen. Even recently, like not like 5-10 years ago. I feel like we were always get the national anthem. They haven't done that this year. Like I don't know. Do you? I mean, have you seen any issues? Do you have any problem with how with the presentation, or you okay with it? Doesn't really matter. A lot of people talking about the ratings too. Give me your thoughts there.
So I feel like we got it during the Bucks run because they had the heavyset redhead guy that was a good luck charm and started singing it for us. And I feel like I remember seeing him on ABC or whatever. I mean, my thing is just like the only issue I don't care about the decals. I don't care about the anthem and all that stuff. Like it's cool and all that stuff, but I like the high quality of basketball that's being played. I watch it on mute, to be honest, because I just can't stand Doris Burke.
Yeah, Doris is terrible.
I miss Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson tremendously. I know Van Gundy's obviously a coach for the Clippers now. As far as the ratings and stuff like that, I mean, I think we knew that when you have Oklahoma City and Indy, it's what it's going to be. If you're a casual NBA fan that just kind of tunes in, like, the ladies in my family, with the exception of my oldest daughter, who's a diehard ball head for WNBA and NBA, you're not going to watch. There's no stars sitting in it. I remember in Milwaukee, there was Chance the Rapper and guys coming up for the Bucks finals and stuff like that. Nobody's going to Indy.
Yeah.
Who's there?
Yep. Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah. He's giving those WWE promos, and it's all cool and it's funny. But this is where those indie people kind of got upset when.
Yeah.
Now you talk about when we were salty. I was salty when we lost. I ain't gonna lie. That's why I was talking about how trash your city is. But I think the stars are showing us trash. We had people coming to Milwaukee. You ain't got Pat McAfee.
Yes,
Triple H?
Triple.
I mean, that's what we doing.
Triple H and Pat McAfee showed, and then Reggie Miller, who looked like he gets dressed in the dark when he come up with this. I don't know what the hell he been putting on.
Look,
but
when your stars are your ex-players,
yeah.
Hey, Indianapolis, Indiana, you got it though. I'll sit this one out. We about to go to Summerfest in a couple weeks though. We up.
Yeah, nah, man. I think nobody's going to Indiana, but or OKC for that matter. But
who has the worst city for a parade? I mean to cut you off, but who has the worst city for a parade? Since we go get off the rails for a second.
I've never been to Oklahoma. I've never been to the state of Oklahoma, so I couldn't tell you. I have been to Indiana. I've been to Indianapolis. I mean, that's all. Ain't nothing there.
Worst conclave I've ever been to in my life. I shouldn't say this.
NYC. Kai Cenat went to the game. Was he at the game? Kai Cenat went to a game? No, he was in Oklahoma. Was he? No, I think he was in Oklahoma. Yeah. Okay. I do remember that. Kai Cenat went to the game. I do remember that. Mark Gomes says, "Do y'all feel better about the Bucks season? Do you feel better about the Bucks seeing how the Pacers team has been to the East Conference Finals and the finals consecutively?" No, I don't feel better about the Bucks. I don't think that. I don't judge. I know some people do that. I never feel better about my team. I guess I don't. That doesn't do anything for me. The fact that the Indiana has had some success here, again, to me, I tell you, it really does show me, in my opinion. I know some people will lie. I know some people will take this differently and say we aren't close. I really don't think we're that far off. I think we just need to get younger, faster, and keep moving. And I think, again, if Nembhard can go from shooting 30% in the regular season to 50% in the play, like who's to say that we can't have that kind of a come up as well? Like I don't know why we couldn't with some guys. AJ Green could do that. Bobby Portis can hit shots. You never know. I think, and he got Giannis leading the charge. So I don't feel any better about it. I just think when I look at it, I look at the East and I go, I don't think there's a lot of I don't think the comp is crazy. And and to me Boston's really the team that if there's a team you fear, which you don't even fear Boston, but if there's a team that's like, oh, they're head over heels better than everybody, okay, you want to go Boston, that's cool. But they're about to break, hell, you take Sam Hauser away, you take that depth away from them. You take away Holiday, who's a luxury as a primetime defender. You take away a Kristaps Porzingis, who's a unicorn, can play. Al Horford getting a step slow. Listen, take all of it away and shrink that team down. Jason Tatum coming off an ACL, an Achilles. Yeah, I don't feel like there's a lot of real threats in the East, and I don't think anybody's going to be afraid, even if Indiana does pull this off and win. I don't think anybody's going to be afraid of Indiana moving forward either. So like I said, kudos to them. And again, and that's the only thing last thing I get at was for me about this series and about the Indiana Pacers is, it's just so much different trying to wrap your head around how they play because, and I said this before, most teams typically win because of their best player and maybe their second best player. The Indiana Pacers win because of players, you call Pat 2 through 10, 3 through 10. They're beating you because Nembhard is better than your fourth guy. Nesmith is better than your fifth guy. Turner is better than your fifth option. Your fourth Turner is better than them. TJ McConnell is better than your backup point guard. Is gonna work harder than your backup point guard, right? Obi Toppin is going to jump higher than whoever your eighth guy is coming in, right? Like that. Ben Shepherd is gonna play better defense than any 8, 9, 10 man you have on the bench, right? Like that's the difference to me from Indiana's perspective versus what we typically see in a top team. And that is why it is very hard for me to really wrap my head around watching them play and watching them potentially win. They would break a lot of rules for me because, again, my rule is you have to have a superstar to win a championship. Halliburton's not a superstar, so I don't think they can win a championship. I would have said the same thing about the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson. I know some people say Brunson's a superstar. If he's not, I think he's teetering. I don't think he's a superstar. In my opinion, I think he's a star. And like I said, even if you call Siakam the best player in Indiana, I wouldn't say he's not a superstar either. But I think like Hallie's if he was your second best player, I think it's really good. If Siakam's your second, I think it's really good. But they're winning because the guys 3 through 10, in my opinion. So again, it would just be interesting to see if they won because that would definitely break one of my rules for winning a championship would be winning it with a team that does not, in my opinion, have a superstar. So we'll see. But again, like you talked about at the beginning of the show, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is every bit of a superstar. So
Mark must be a Brewers fan, man, because that's kind of the way the Brewers did it for so many years, man. The team that beat them went on to either play in the World Series or win the World Series. I think we saw that with the Packers as well. For me, I don't care once we lose. If anything, I'm even more upset, Mark, with it because I'm just like, and kind of like what Owen was getting to, I feel just so dejected about the way that Damian Lillard went down this year. Damian Lillard went down last year. Giannis was out last year. Like, yeah, that's why I kind of agree with Owen, man. There's a lot of luck involved with winning a championship, man. And we have not had that healthy team since, and we didn't really even have it in 21. We got fortunate that Giannis' season wasn't ending. But next year, like you said, Trey, we're in a good spot to come back, man. Maybe if Doc had shaken up that lineup a little bit earlier, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. There's a lot of different if come maybes, and what they say, if the ifs were fifths, we'd be drunk. So we'd be drunk with championship basketball right now, potentially. And we could have won that game and then lost the next game. So who knows? But to answer your question, Mark, I do not feel better about losing to the team that wins the championship, goes to the championship, or any of that stuff, man. I want us to get another one the same way that 34 said.
Yeah, 100%. Let's shift gears again. We won't be long tonight. Just wanted to come on and talk for a little bit, but I did want to let's get to the Milwaukee Bucks. A little bit of news about Giannis. Of course, it does sound like he's going to return. I never really felt strong that he was going to be gone. I probably would have put it at like 95-5. Again, my only time that I would knock that down is if the Bucks don't have any success in the next couple of years, and he's an actual free agent. I just don't see him not fulfilling his contractual obligations. Of course, we reported earlier before anybody had it really that Doc Rivers will be back. That seems to be the same. There have been some people who thought that was going to change. Giannis likes Doc Rivers, so he'll be back. I just want to get your thoughts on. There's so many. It's so funny because the NBA media has shifted. So the first it was, Giannis is planning on leaving, or not. Giannis is finally he's exploring. Okay, he's exploring. And now it's, oh, well, we don't know if he's going to do anything. It doesn't look like he's going to do anything. And now now it's shifted back even further to, well, it's not going to happen now, but maybe after the draft. Maybe he's getting closer to the draft. After the draft, and maybe into August is when. And then I saw an article from Wendy and, was it Tim Bontemps today, where you know what, he'll be a Buck to start the season, but they're not gonna compete. So will he finish the season with the Buck? Like, that's the kind of talk. I just don't see Giannis going to the front office and asking for a trade. And again, if he does, I see the Milwaukee Bucks going on. I don't see and it's funny because you see us people who the asking price. You remember, and then the other thing, do you remember all of the trade scenarios people were given, and they didn't want to basically we're not giving up this guy for Giannis, we're giving up this guy for Giannis. And I saw the Pelicans trying to trade Trey Murphy for they want an all-star, they want to play a young player, they want an all-star vet, they want a veteran player that is a proven performer, they want a young player that's capable of playing well, and they want multiple first-round picks. And you had people, who was that? I can't remember. Was it Bill Simmons who wanted to do like a one-on-one swap between like Giannis? I can't remember who it was. What are we doing, man? So again, I don't think anybody's prepared to pay the price. I think you're looking at the CBA too, and you're realizing you need to build. If I was, and I'm going off a little bit, if I was San Antonio Spurs, I'm not giving up the bank for. Again, look, team building is the new wave of the CBA. There's no chance in hell that I would trade assets away to go get Kevin Durant. No, I'm building with Wemby. I'm building with this squad, and we're going to see what we can do. But anyway, that's beside the point. Give me your thoughts on Giannis coming back and just some feelings there. And NYC, I'll get to your super chat in a second.
I feel like Giannis coming back is exactly what I expected him to do. I think that he's not built the way that a lot of American AAU hooping kids are. He's built that different. I think it's a special place in his heart for what the original Bucks owners that took over and Mr. Cole did for him, as far as getting his mom, his dad, his brothers here. Yep. He had a brother graduate from Whitefish Bay, Dominican, due to that. So I just feel like his loyalty is there. I'm not going to think any differently of it. I never thought I could see that guy going in there and asking for a trade, because I think he realizes, and JT would always hit on this a lot, we lost in the first round those previous years because he wasn't physically available. I don't fault him for that. It's just the way the cookie crumbled, unfortunately. I like the way the team is coming together so far in this offseason. I see my guy Kuz, and I took the jersey down because it's baseball season, but should have put it back up for tonight. I see he get a lot of hate for the boxing and the dancing and stuff like that. But, people are upset because Pat Connaughton has opted into his contract. What do you expect him to do? Like, what is he going to do? Who else is going to pay him more than $9.3 million a year? Looks like Bobby's going to opt in as well, potentially. I think that's a smart decision for him. Work out an extension with the Bucks. And we got to get Sims back. We got to get KPJ back. There's rumblings that we're going to try to get Gary Trent Jr. back. I think a lot of the emotion from him dropping those out-of-bounds passes has kind of settled. I think we need to bring AJ Green back. Like, we're in a good place. But for all those folks that are really upset about Bobby, Pat, Kuzma, and don't say, oh, this sucks. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be terrible. Give me what you would do. From Doc Rivers on down. You want that guy gone. You want this guy gone. I remember a Hall of Famer told us Doc Rivers was a good basketball coach. I'm still going to hold to what Mr. Moncrief says. Oh, and hey, Trey, is it okay to talk about it now? Or you want what? Make sure, we'll just drop a little nugget to you. Make sure you tune in to that season wrapping show.
Yeah.
I think we might got some good stuff, and we might be giving away some stuff too. Just potential.
We definitely, the season wrap show is gonna be fun. We have a lot to do with that. It'll be great for sure. So definitely want to do that. And when NYC Demon super chat, he says that's what me and Wisconsin were arguing about. He said Brunson was a superstar because of his playoff stats. I then showed him Jamal Murray's stats in the playoffs. He then said Murray was a superstar in the playoffs. Yeah, no, I disagree. Jamal Murray's not a superstar. Again, great number 2. Again, it reminds me of in that finals run with Denver was every bit the Chris Middleton type of a number 2 to a Joker. He was the number 2 to Joker, like Chris Middleton was the number 2 to Giannis. Where is he capable of having big moments? Absolutely. Is he capable of scoring in bunches? Absolutely. Is he capable of hitting big shots late? Absolutely. Is he the driving force of the team? No. Would anybody start a franchise and say, Jamal Murray, you're the best player, go out there and I want you to lead my team? I don't know. Maybe someone. I would not. That's me. Jalen Brunson, to me, is much closer to superstar than Jamal Murray. And I think there are questions as to whether or not. I think there's a question as to whether Brunson is a superstar. I think he is a star for sure. I think Brunson's close. Brunson is very close. Brunson's very close. Jamal Murray has a more, to me, limited bag consistently than what Jalen Brunson has, and that's why I would say Jalen Brunson is a better player. But it's very. I'm very close. I mean, Brunson to me is a better player than Tyrese Halliburton. I think Brunson is. I think clearly a better player than Tyrese Halliburton. So again, maybe my bar for superstar is higher than others because I wouldn't put him there. Owen says Shams and you would put what?
Brunson there. For me,
okay.
I'd say he's just, and if he's not there, like you said, he's right under the line. I think he's right over the line. The barometer that I'll give you that push that nod for me is this year when he started the All-Star game. To me, that is making an All-Star team. Everyone can make one or two. He's made back-to-back years, but the fact that he's starting an All-Star game now, that's a big sign to me. That means you're top 5 in your conference. Top 2 guard.
Yeah, I can get down with that, but I mean, I can get down. So is Donovan Mitchell a superstar to you?
He's just like Brunson. He's either there, that's just barely there, or barely short. Like he's pretty close. Yeah. If we were playing golf, both of them would be a gimme. How about that?
Yeah, I think Donovan Mitchell's probably he's probably to me even closer to the line than Jalen Brunson. I don't know. They're probably right around that same mark. Owen says Shams and ESPN full of crap. Let's just see what the roster looks like. Maybe can make a little magic. Lash says they must think Giannis is 35-year-old Kevin Durant with those trade packages. Absolutely. Daniel Joseph says Tyrese Choka-Burton. And NYC says Doc at least for me and get a defender in your face to me change. Daniel Joseph says, man, I miss you guys. We miss everybody too. And again, it's crazy. I was just like, the draft is on the 25th. I think isn't it next week? Yeah, drafts. I mean, it's crazy to me. I was like, damn. So basically, the season ends and then boom, you're right back in it. So I love that about the NBA. I wanted to get to the other piece. So again, Giannis coming back. I wanted to get back to the other piece on Brian Windhorst, who today came out and said that something to the effect of like the Bucks core is gonna be together. And then there was discussion about whether the Milwaukee Bucks would go after a point guard. And the 3 names that came up were, I believe, Malcolm Brogdon, Dennis Schroeder, and Tyus Jones were the 3 names that surfaced with that conversation. One, I think there was a lot of pushback and fallout about this quote unquote core conversation. And what I would say is, one, Wendy said that. This was not a quote from John Horst. This was not a quote. This was what he said. And again, my question, because I don't think it was explained, is what does core mean? Does core around Giannis mean, as you mentioned, we're going to try and bring Bobby back and Gary Trent Jr. and KPJ, Ryan Rollins. Is that core? Cool. I mean, Kuzma. Is that what you mean by core? Is that it? So if that's what you mean by core, sure. I don't think you're talking about Brooke Lopez bringing the whole team back. I don't think you're talking about that. But I mean, I guess my question is, what does core mean? Two, I don't think that came from a direct. I don't think that's a direct source quote from anybody. So I think he just said that based upon they're gonna bring some guys that were previously on their team back. I think what the Bucks, and then remember there was all this talk, and it was so funny because again, I felt like, and I went and looked. I said that the Bucks should sell Giannis on a 2-year plan. 2 weeks after that is when Eric Names said a gap year. So I'm just being. I know everybody's giving gap year the credit. I looked and I saw Names' article came out 2 weeks after I said I would sell Giannis on a 2-year plan. But I don't know. We can go with gap year. That's fine. But to me, the when people said gap year, I think people took that to mean the Bucks are not going to try to compete. And I don't think that's not what I interpret when I hear gap year or I'm going to sell you on a 2-year plan. To me, that means our optimal chance to win is going to be in year 2. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on year 1. To me, that means I'm not going to sell out to go to try to I'm not going to be short-sighted in this next year just to try to win, right? But that doesn't mean I'm not trying to win. It just means for instance, I'm not going to go after I'll just make up an example. I'm not going to trade, a couple guys, a package here plus my 2031 pick for Jeremy Grant, right? To get him in. And okay, this is let's go with it. No, that means I'm gonna sit tight. We're gonna increase on the margins. Dame will be back at some point, and we're gonna try to win it from there with guys that we have, and maybe some increases around the margins. That means I'm not going out because I think a lot of people go, well, let's trade Kyle Kuzma. To trade Kyle, which is not a terrible idea, but to trade Kyle Kuzma, you've got to attach that 2031 pick. I don't know that I would trade that. I think I would hold it. I don't think the value of whatever you're going to get back from Kuzma, the 2031 pick, whatever that is, maybe plus something else, is going to get you I don't think it's going to get you what you need to win a title anyway. So, okay, for another second example, the one that DeMar DeRozan. I don't know who's making $50 million or whatever. I don't know that I want to be in a situation where my future is I got Dame, DeRozan, and Giannis moving forward, and that's the 3 guys, and then we got a bunch of mess on them. I don't know that I'll be short-sighted and try to go for that. That's what I think they mean when they say gap year, is I'm not going all out on everything and giving up future assets and future flexibility to win this coming year. Doesn't mean we're not going to try. That's all I'm saying. And I think that has people confused, in my opinion.
So the other thing about the gap year is what we're going to do is use that to create some of this financial flexibility that we lost by taking these big swings at these curveballs that we didn't hit, right? I agree with you with a lot of the stuff you said. Bringing these guys back and bringing these young guys back like your Sims, your KPJ, your Gary Trent Jr. allows these guys to grow another year with Giannis, and hopefully they can start to develop some more connection with him and become better basketball players in this system. And when you look at the Indiana Pacers, the team that's representing our Eastern Conference right now, had we had made a change here, a change there, I'm not for certain that this Bucks team couldn't beat that team.
That's what I say.
And it's no shade to them, but it's just a fact. Like, you're a fluke game, closeout game, and sending us home. You sent us to Cancun. We're not going to run from that. But it was as fluke could be. So I don't want Tyus Jones. I'm tired of these Duke dudes on the Bucks. They always seem to, when it's time to be eliminated, they drop the ball. They don't shoot the ball. Grayson Allen. So we don't need no more of them Duke dudes. Jabari Parker, leg can't stay. Let's stay away from Duke completely. I don't want anybody from the Duke Blue Devils, even though I'm a rock throw from Durham, North Carolina, on my basketball team. Malcolm Brogdon, hey, man, it was a great run when he had it. I felt like the discourse that he left, and I'm not talking about with the Milwaukee Bucks franchise. There's a little bit there. I'm talking about with the whole city of Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he'll be welcome back with warm arms. So that leaves us Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder coming off the bench in place of Ryan Rollins? Or, because I mean, if you bring up Schroeder, I feel like you're going to lose either Rollins or Green.
No,
Right?
AJ Green. No. Green. What do we mean lose Green?
Well, your minutes, your shot selection, something like that. Because isn't AJ unrestricted too?
Let me look. AJ, I know they're 100% gonna bring back AJ Green, but let me look. Keep going. I'll look at his contract and let you know once I see it.
Yeah. So I mean, we just got to get in. I saw Owen put in there that the Bucks draft John Tonje with pick number 47. I'd probably be the first person in line to get that jersey, and it wouldn't hang up on my wall. I'd wear it probably every other day. But I'm just saying we got to get these guys back though.
So for the record, AJ Green he will be back. So he has one more year under contract. He's an unrestricted free agent next year. So he has one more year under contract, and I think the Bucks probably be smart to, depending on how he plays, locking him up again. I can see him being, really good, not just a role player. He's a young player. I think you think about starting him, and hopefully he can get that. Again, to me, he plays just as handsy as Nembhard. He just doesn't get the same calls. He just gets called for fouls, and Nembhard, Neesmith don't. But
you're a better shooter than both of them.
Correct. Regular season, he was. Yeah, no, that's not hyperbole. That's not being a homer. He was a better shooter. In the playoffs, these guys have just shot incredible. But yeah, no, he's a better shooter. I'll give you that. I think that's true. I don't think that's false at all. NYC Demon says, I'm only trusting Trey, Chris Haynes on the Bucks news. Everybody else be spitting bullshit. I would like Dennis, and if we get Herb, we go into finals. We're not get Herb. But yeah, Malcolm Brogdon, again, to me, the Malcolm Brogdon thing is outside of the things he talked about Milwaukee. Why? Again, we lost the series because we were slow, old, and hurt. Why would I I don't know. Why would I want a player who Brogdon is slow? He's going to be 33 during the season, and he's chronically injured. I don't know why I would do that, even on a minimum. I don't know why I would do that. Again, I lean into everybody young. And that's what I'd be looking to roll with if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks. And again, I don't know who they're gonna. If they get Schroeder, I'm cool with that. I like Tyus Jones. I know you don't like the Duke guy. I like Tyus Jones. I was a big fan of him when he was in Minnesota as well. But for me, I just can't lose sight. We got to play. To me, I think KPJ he's one of those guys, one of the few guys that we will have that can create his own shot. One of those tween hezzy guys that the analytics people don't like, that new NBA doesn't like. But he has so much star potential and star power. And I get somebody say he's gonna opt out. I think that's true. I think he can get a little bit more than minimum. I don't think he can get more than $5 million. But I give it to him and see what we can do moving forward. And then I take Gary Trent Jr. back. And then I think, again, Bobby Portis, man. I know, we talked about maybe not having Bobby, but again, if you can increase the defense around the Bucks and you have, let's say, a starting lineup that is, no Dame's out, but let's say it's KPJ or Rollins, Green, Gary Trent, Giannis, and Bobby Portis, I do think that's a little bit better when you put that around him defensively from point of attack defenders. And then I think about, Sims as well, who's got to play. And I think, he protects the rim. And I think the other guy that's really got to play a lot to me is Tyler Smith. Like, we got to figure out what we got in Tyler Smith and lean in on young players. And I hope, to me, the best bet for this team is you win like you did this year between 45 and 48 games. And you see what happens in the playoffs when you get Dame back with it. And so, we'll see what happens.
And I think so. We're both saying we're probably cool on Brook and we're probably cool on Taurean Prince as well then, sounds like?
Yeah, and I have no interest in Brook Lopez, and I have zero interest in Taurean Prince as well. Taurean Prince is, he's an 82-game player. He's not a 16-game player. I think that's what I found out about Torian Prince. And again, I just hope Doc Rivers is watching basketball, man, because I go back to it. Adrian Griffin was trying to show you guys the blueprint. He was trying to show you have to play aggressive defense. You have to be on ball. You have to guard, and that's you have to play a very tough brand of basketball. Again, I'm not saying he's anything. I'm just saying what Rick Carlisle, the style of defensive play that Rick Carlisle has implemented with his team, that is closer to what Adrian Griffin's style was trying to portray. And again, he was trying to, Brook Lopez. He was trying to tell you and show you can't win in this league right now with Brook Lopez. He was trying to show it to you. He's trying to show you this is how you have to defend to be a top-notch team. And I'm looking at OKC defend that way, and I'm looking at Indiana defend that way. And I'm not saying we had the personnel to do it, but again, what I'm saying is we had a personnel issue, not a coaching issue. And Doc Rivers is going to have to figure that out too, and that's why I'm in total favor of getting much younger, getting fresher. Again, like you mentioned, this series could have gone a totally different way. If we hold on and win that series, win that game 5, right? Who knows what happens? Especially when Doc Rivers finally changed the starting lineup and had the young guys play. Who knows? But you have to make the right decisions. And if they ain't been there, who knows, man? So that's all, man. But I think the Bucks. I don't think we're as far off as people think we are. And again, I like this team, and it's really 2 years. And I think the good thing is that you're going to go into this next season with the mindset and understanding that the expectations will not. I don't believe they will be as high. I do not believe the expectations will be as high. So I feel like maybe we can enjoy the season a little bit.
Fly under the radar, man. But one thing on Brett before we move on, I just want to make it clear. We are not in a parade talking about 21, holding on to a lot of these guys longer than what we should have had it not been Brook Lopez.
That's true.
In 21, he is a big cog and a reason why we are champions. However, in 25, same thing with Middleton, same thing with him, same thing with Pat Connaughton. Bobby, I think, still has a little bit left in the tank, but the rest of those guys, man, like, it's just say we appreciate it. You're Bucks legends. We're going to value you a lot more than other cities do. And, I mean, we'll just go about it. There's a lot of talk out there, and not to kind of pivot, there's a lot of talk out there, and I know the dude used to come in the chat all the time and talk about Jordan Poole.
Yeah,
it's a lot. I mean, he makes a lot of money too, though. So I don't know.
Right, that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm getting back to on the core piece of: are you going to ship out a lot to go get a Jordan Poole? Like, to me, because I got to think about this team with Dame comes back. Does Jordan Poole, Dame, and Giannis, is that a 3? And again, it makes a lot of money. So is that a 3-headed monster that wins you a championship? I don't think it does. Like, I don't fear. Man, they got Jordan Poole, Dame, and Giannis. Like, that does not put any fear in my heart. Especially when you talk about teams like the Indiana Pacers who are they sending 10 guys at you. It's not like, if it was just Halliburton and Siakam and maybe that starting group and the rest were kind of bums, cool. Cool. But when you got to think about the prospect of him throwing a lot of guys, that I just don't feel like that wins you anything. Let me ask you this too: what do you think that Kyle Kuzma? I think he's gonna be back. What do you think? Do you think he will play any better? Do you think there's any hope for him moving forward, or what do you think he looks like? Coming throughout the season when he's back with the Bucks.
I don't think he can play any worse, especially that playoff game. Like, that was probably the lowest he's probably ever played in his career. I think that Kyle can be a good role player and possibly even a great role player. However, what us Bucks fans have to do is we have to divorce the Chris Middleton conversation for him and stop treating him like he's Middleton in his prime. Um, but I think Kuz can be a good, valuable piece, and a whole summer to work with Giannis and the team and the guys can get this guy playing better, man. Like, I think he needs a pickup in his confidence as well. Is he going to come out and dominate the NBA? Absolutely not. But what can he play his role at a high level? I wholeheartedly think he can.
And I wonder if that role is him playing the four. And I wonder if you have him as a backup and he comes in at the four instead of playing that kind of semi guard kind of role, ball handling. And again, I think Kyle Kuzma, he's a limited player. He's a very limited player, and you have to put him in good spots. He's not one of those guys that can put himself there. And again, at the end of the day, I get to NYC says I'm off Kuz. I was fighting for him. The man's playing like ass. But here's the thing: he's gonna be back. He's going to be back. And so I think you're going to, for this team to have a chance next year. I'm not saying he has to play great, but he has to be serviceable. Because he is another. I mean, he's your, I believe he's gonna be your third highest paid player. So he's going to have to be serviceable at the very least. And that again, some of that's on Doc Rivers figuring out a way to get, because again, he can't. I know he said he didn't rebound. He can rebound. He can. I've seen him defend at a high level. I've seen him. I've seen him cut to the basket well. So again, he's got to put all the good things together, and half of his issues will be eliminated if he just stops the bullshit where he drives the basket and throw it off the backboard. If he just cuts that out of his game, if he cuts the bonehead out of his game, that's half the battle. Cut that out. Worry about defense, worry about rebounding, worry about cutting and slashing to the basket. If you just do that, he can be serviceable. But we'll see. A lot remains to be seen on that. Man.
Yeah, Vegas will be key, man. Like, and I'm not talking about the summer league as far as the team that we have out there, but I'm talking about those practices where all those guys fly out there. You've seen Bobby out there, you've seen Giannis, you've seen all the Antetokounmbros out there together, man. So we got to get in that gym and we got to put this together, man. Giannis isn't in Greece this year. He's here. So let's get together. And this team, here we go with me being delusional. They love to call me delusional. This team, if they have the hustle and tenacity that we saw in Game 5, this team can hang with a lot of these teams in the East. I think Cat is still going to be a problem for us. But then with Brook not being there, I mean, I don't know. It frees up stuff. We got to bring back Jericho Sims. Is that what I'm getting to, though?
Yeah, no, I want Jericho Sims back too. I definitely want Jericho Sims back. I'm with you, man. I think they always have a shot. You have Giannis, you always have a shot. And so we'll continue to see him on there. And I think, again, do I think John Horst goes to surprises? I do. He always surprises you every single year with somebody he brings in or brings back or some kind of trade. He will do something, I do believe, that will give this team a chance to win. But ultimately, guys got to step up their game. Ryan Rollins has to take the next step. Tyler Smith has to take another step. Jericho Sims has to take another step. KPJ has to take another step. Like, Kuzma has got to take multiple steps. Like, guys have got to play better. AJ Green has got to take a step. Gary Trent Jr., yeah, I know he's not going to put up 30 like he did in the playoffs, but he's got to take more of a step. Everybody's got to take steps to be much better. And only then can the Bucks have any type of chance or opportunity. I don't know about Doc Rivers, but he's the coach, so we'll see. We'll see. I don't think he's any worse than some of these coaches. I don't think Doc Rivers is any worse than Mark Daigneault. Like, I don't think he is. Again, I've said it before. I think that it's just like coaching, just like a classroom. There's 4 to 5 really good kids in the class. There's 4 to 5 really bad kids in the class. Everybody else is somewhere in the middle. And I know Doc Rivers gets a lot of flack. I think he's somewhere right in the middle. He's right in there with Daigneault. He's in there with Jason Kidd. He's in there with Tom Thibodeau. He's in there with all of those guys that you want to put in the middle. I think he's right in line with them. It was interesting. He did not get of all the coaches that got called for the Knicks job, he didn't get they did not ask to interview Doc Rivers. So I don't feel like that's a good thing. But
And that's when it gets down being a Bucks fan. That's where you just gotta smile and say, at least we're not Knicks fans, man. I mean, what a crap show that is. Or at least we're not Lakers fans. I know we'll save that for the wrap-up show, but I'm gonna go ahead and shoot my shot now. It was all this talk about Mr. Ham and how he was terrible. Old podcaster this, podcaster that. He went and got cooked up by Ant-Man in the first round. I want them to put more respect on Darvin Ham's name and stop blaming Darvin Ham for their shortcomings and realize it's their GOAT that they have on the court.
Yeah, no, you're right on the Darvin Ham thing. He went to the West Conference Finals in year 1. And JJ
from the play-in.
JJ Redick didn't do nothing. King King,
As a 3 seed.
King King's the worst coach in the NBA. He's not the worst coach in the NBA. He's just not. Again, I'm not saying he's the best by any means, but he's not the worst coach in the NBA. Again, some coach, I think he's a good motivator. I think he connects with stars, which is a skill in and of itself. Because Giannis wants him around and Giannis trusts him, so that's good. Daniel says KPJ's gone. I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know what his market is. I'm not saying that it's a foregone conclusion that he's back. I just don't know that he was gone. That's all. So I think it'll be interesting what his market is. I don't know how high it is, but I know the Bucks. I know that the Bucks, from my understanding, the Bucks do believe they can get him back. So we'll see.
But one of the things that you mentioned about Kuz was the fact that you got to put him in situations to be effective.
Yes.
And KPJ has bounced around to a couple teams, played foreign ball, and those looks aren't the same when Giannis and Dame and some of these other guys aren't on your team. And I would just think a guy, the way that the city of Milwaukee embraced him, the way that the Bucks culture embraced him, I don't know, man. My bet would be that KPJ is a Milwaukee Buck next year.
I think he is too. I really do. NYC Demon, last super chat tonight. Appreciate it. He says, one thing I'll say to give Kuz bail. Doc used him in the worst way possible. A corner shooter and then ball handler. Kuz is a great cutter slasher, but ran no plays for him to get back cuts. That I agree with. That's what we're just talking about, NYC. Yeah, Doc Rivers has got to put him in good situations. I do think that. Again, it's so funny. And again, I know I talk a lot of junk about Terry Stotts. Our offense looked the best when the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm just talking about in general, looked the best when Adrian Griffin took over the team and we were running. I'm not gonna say we were running Terry Stotts stuff, but I don't know. I don't know, Adrian Griffin's offensive philosophies, but I mean, we were running the elevator door screens, we're running the too high ball screens. We don't do any of that stuff anymore. We don't do any of that stuff anymore. When is the last time? I was thinking about this the other day. When's the last time Dame came up the court and we said we had two players setting a double high screen right over half court and try and get him free? When's the last time we saw that? And we used to see it all the time in Adrian Griffin's offense. So yes, you have to put guys in good spots. And again, I don't think Doc Rivers I think Terry Stotts has a job now, but I don't think Doc Rivers would have been intimidated by Terry Stotts. I think that was something that did intimidate Adrian Griffin a little bit, and for good reason. I think they were looking to. I think they were looking to potentially get rid of him if they needed to and have a backup option. Dan Joe says he took his player. Again, just because somebody doesn't take their player option doesn't mean that they're gone. Bobby Portis may not opt back in. I don't know that he will. I know there may be a chance that he does. I don't know that he's going to take his I don't know that Bobby Portis is going to take it. I think he's going to be back too. I don't know what Bobby Portis' market looks like. But again, just because you go to free agency, that does not mean that there's going to be a lot of money out there. The Milwaukee Bucks can still, again, they will have about $14 million or so to sign guys to that mid-level exception, whatever that mid-level is. And again, where they're going to try and use some of it on Gary Trent Jr. and they're going to try and use some of it on KPJ. So again, I just don't. I'm not saying that he's gonna be back. I'm just saying I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's not. Anything else you're gonna get to, Justin? And then we can we can wrap it.
There was also a article that came out that said that, or on Bleacher Report that said that the Bucks were prepared to go back into the luxury tax this year. So,
Well, they no, no
I,
they will be in the luxury tax. It's the question is will they be? They I don't think they want to be second apron, but yes, I do. They will. I believe they will. It is going to be put like this. It will be very hard for them not to. It will be very hard for them to avoid that first apron simply because you have Dame making basically $50 million. You got Giannis making what 40 something million, and you got Kuzma making $20 million. So yeah, that's. I mean, they're gonna have what is that? 20 to 40. You got $100 million. You got $100 million tied up in three guys. And I don't know if what's the tax like. I think it's 146, 147. I'm making a number up. I'm not even sure. Bobby's gonna get 14. Bobby's gonna get 14, 15, whatever that number is. Gary Trent's gonna get some. You're gonna use probably your entire mid-level. That's another 14 million. And then you got to fill the roster out after that. So yes, you will be most likely in that first apron. The good thing, even with the Kuzma deal, the trade was that you will be able to avoid that second apron. And again, there's just a lot more financial freedom and flexibility in the first versus second.
And don't get so caught up in this free agency that this player's going here, that player's going there. Because remember, we're in CJ McCollum as your NBA Players League president or whatever it's called. So those aprons were put into place to stop all this stuff from happening. So I can't just say KPJ is going to walk off and someone's going to throw 20 mil at him. Now, had this have been when he was in Houston before all the stuff happened, potentially he was a $100 million player. So if we can even get him back on a 1 year, prove it with the handshake agreement like we did with Bobby Portis Jr., hey, that might be a good opportunity for KPJ as well to get rich later on. He's still relatively young. So I'm just excited, man. Let's hurry up and get these finals over. Let's get to this draft. Let's get to this summer league. Let's get to this Cream City curveball. Keep these Brewers going. Let's get to these Green Bay Packers beating the hell out of them Carolina Panthers November 2nd, 2025 at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the year of the Lord. Let's do it.
You know that ain't happening when the Carolina Panthers come to town. But yeah, we'll see how it all goes, man. I'm with you, man. Let's get these finals over. We'll see how it does. Maybe we'll do this again. Depending on how this series goes, and then of course we will have a wrap up show as well. So again, keep on the lookout, man. We appreciate everybody. Go ahead. You got one more. Go ahead.
My bad. I almost forgot it because I know Chris King was here. He was saying, I gotta say this for Brother King. Obi Toppin has been playing his.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm going to say. Some pause off the entire playoffs. Okay, I'm good now.
Even though he was a -15 tonight, he did. He played well tonight. Let's wrap it there, man. Again, appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody for joining us and watching. Appreciate you if you're watching after the fact as well. I know we didn't let everybody know that we were gonna do this kind of impromptu, but that we just decided to do earlier today. But yeah, like I said, keep on the lookout for the wrap up show. We will do that. We'll be back better than ever, man. We ready for these playoffs to get over. We're ready for this next season to get started, and the Milwaukee Bucks to get back into title form. This has been another edition of the Cream City crossover. Trying to think anything. Man, we ain't done this so long. I forgot my how I wrap this. Justin. This has been a Cream City. The Rocket. I cleaned my desk off. I can't find it. I gotta find it. But this has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Guru Trick Osby III.
Justin.
If I am an enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wooden nickels. Courage.